Hello and welcome everyone to today's Tuesday tip video. I'm Connie Stewart with simplysimplestamping.com, and today's tip video is full of some amazing tips. I'm going to teach you how to create 3 different cards using one of Stampin' Up's brand new bundles called Pop-Up Petals. Now, this is what I like to call the now, wow, or holy cow, because I have 3 different cards. If you've got a few minutes, I've got a card for you. If you've got a few extra minutes, you want to step it up, I've got a card for that too. And if you want to go all out fun, fold, amazing, you're going to want to check out the holy cow. Let's jump in and talk about this bundle. Yes, we are going to be talking about the Pop-Up Petals Bundle. First, you're going to notice brand new packaging. Yes, many of our stamps are coming in a brand new package. So now your stamps and your dies will be in identical packaging. But look at this. You now have images of your dies. Love that. This is a fantastic set, very whimsical. You guys know I love anything with flowers, and this one is a fun one to create. Let me show you the cards. So we have a simple now card. Like I said, you need a card in a hurry. This is the card for you. If you have a few more minutes and you want to use the dies and create something a little extra fancy, a little wow, perhaps, you could go with this card here. But I'm really partial to the holy cow card. Look at what happens on the inside. We've got a little flying butterfly. We have a little pop out planter and all of our beautiful flowers inside. Friends, I'm going to teach you to create all 3 cards today. Don't write down any measurements, anything like that. Guys, there is a free download that has all that waiting for you. There's the supply list. There's all my measurements, cutting and scoring. You'll have photos. You'll have a QR code that you can scan, or you can click right there. It's going to bring you right back to the video. On the back page, you're going to see a graphic with all the supplies that I used and a link. And if you're in the United States, friends, I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. You can click that link. It'll go to my online store. You can order any of those brand new items right there. Thank you so much for your orders. I truly appreciate those. All right, let's jump into our now card. I'm going to begin with a fresh Freesia card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have 2 pieces of cardstock. I have a berry burst that is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, and a basic white 2.5 by 2. I'm going to start with my fresh Freesia, and I'm going to stamp the flower pot. We're going to put that right down here at the bottom of my card. Now we're ready to bring in our Memento Black, and I'm going to use this collection of daisies, but I don't want it to go past the vase that I've stamped. So I'm going to bring in a Post-it note. I'm going to line it up right there at the edge. This just guarantees I'm not going to go past that edge. Very quick and easy. How about some Daffodil Delight for our daisies? And friends, this is a 2-step stamp, so I don't have to color those in. I am going to simply line up my petals right inside the black image. Perfect. Now, for the centers of the flowers, there is a stamp for that as well. I'm going to do those in pecan pie. And, whoops, let's flip this around. These stamp right inside. I use this little polka dot stamp for a lot of different things. And now we're going to stamp our greeting in Berry Burst. Thanks for being there. And now for the inside of the card, we are going to stamp our sentiment. You get me, and I appreciate that. Fantastic sentiment. And then back in with that Berry Burst, let's just add a little butterfly. We'll take our Berry Burst cardstock. We'll put that up at the top. We will take our stamped image, and we're going to offset that just a little bit. Now to dress it up, I've got a Petunia Pop iridescent ribbon, and I've tied that into a pretty little bow, and I can just add that up at the top. Minutes, right? Just minutes to create that card. All right, that's your now card. Let's move on to our wow card. Don't forget about the free download that's available to you. You'll find this at simplysimplestamping.com. Look for the November 4th, 2025 blog post. Friends, everything you need is here. You'll have the supply list, the measurements, the photos, even a place where you can order any of the products that I used today. With that, let's move on to card number 2, the wow card. I have another Fresh Freesia card base. I am now going to take what is also the centers of the flowers, but we're going to make a great little polka dotted border. And I'm just going to add these polka dots all around the edges. I don't have to stamp the inside because it is going to be covered with cardstock. I love to get creative with my layers. So I have a berry burst, again, 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. I'm going to stamp the taller vase just to shake things up. We're going to stamp that in the bottom right corner. I've got the matching die. I'm going to die cut that vase. And now that I have that done, I'm going to bring in an embossing folder just to give this a little zhuzh. I'm going to use the brand new beautiful pattern. And boy, that just sums it up, doesn't it? I'm going to run this through my machine as well. Then we'll be ready to do some stamping. I have 3 pieces of basic white. This is for the inside, 4 by 5 1/4. This is for the front. This is a 2 1/2 by 4. This is for our die cutting of our flower. Now I'm going to get a little grid paper underneath me because I am going to do just a little bit of stamping off. So we're going to take this long flower. So here on the scrap, and this really was just a little scrap. We're going to stamp the flower. I'm going to stamp it again, only I don't want all of it. Just about the first set of leaves right there. I'll stamp my sentiment and a little butterfly just for fun. So this is for the front of our card. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my greeting, grateful for your friendship. And I'm going to stamp it in the upper right corner at an angle. I'll bring in some Fresh Freesia. We've got another 2-step stamp. So I will stamp inside the flower for the inside and the one here that we're going to die cut for the front. A little granny apple green now for our leaves. I love that I'm not having to do any coloring, so this really does go very quick. Okay, I have to do just a little bit of coloring because I don't want a white butterfly. So I've got Fresh Freesia. I'll start with the dark there in the middle, and then I can use the light. I don't mind just a little bit. So I am going to adhere the that embossed berry burst with the little cutout there at the bottom because we're going to cover that. So I'm just going to kind of center that up, top and the side there. The inside of my card already ready to go. Now let's do some die cutting with the flower. So yep, I've got a die. We're going to die cut that and then we can add it to our card. So cute, right? So I'm going to be using Stampin' Dimensional. So I'm going to add just a couple here to my flower. And I want to go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and add that to my card about right there. Now I am also going to add the vase with Stampin' Dimensionals as well. So let's see, probably about 3 should do it. We can add that to our card. And this time I decided I wanted to decorate the vase. I have just a little ribbon knot. You know what's great about ribbon knots is they don't use as much ribbon. So it's kind of a nice way to conserve when you want to add a little something. So if we add that little ribbon knot, guys, look at that. That took just a few extra minutes, right? But we have a really great wow card. Here we go. It's time for Holy Cow. All right, let me show you the card first. So we've got some more die cutting on the front, but the real wow is right there on the inside. This die set in the bundle, this has this little pop-up. You don't have to try to get all cutesy with cutting. We're going to do it all with a simple die. Lots of little die cut flowers. And of course, I love my little floating butterfly. All right, so the first thing I want to teach you is how to do this cut in the center. I'm going to begin with a piece of basic white. Now, this is a little bit different. We've got 8 1/4 by 5 1/4. I have scored at 4 1/8. All right. And there are 2 different size planters, if you will. I'm going to go ahead and use the larger one. You can use either one you want, but can you see the little tick marks there on the die itself? That's going to help you to know where to line up that die. You're going to line it up right in the score line. I have some Post-it note tape. I am going to take just a sec to just secure that in place. And now let me show you how we're going to die cut that. You can see my tape, it's got that securely on there. I can see that the points are lined up in the score line. We're going to run that through. I will gently remove my Post-it note tape. And friends, there is our little planter. Okay, really, really simple. Okay, I'm ready to kind of start doing some stamping on the inside of this. Remember that Post-it note we used earlier? We're going to bring it in again right along the top of that cut, because I'm going to stamp a flower in my black ink, and I'm going to go right along that score line. All right. I'll stamp my green, my granny apple green inside as well. I can remove my Post-it note. That just kind of gets me started. And I think I will make this flower Daffodil Delight. Okay, now I'm going to bring in some more basic white cardstock. We got a lot of stamping and cutting. And rather than do all of that stamping, I'm just going to kind of show you what I did. So I stamped 4 of the large flowers. I stamped a set of the daisies. I've got 2 of the smaller flower and 1 butterfly. All right, and you can see I kind of changed up the colors, a Daffodil Delight, a Fresh Freesia. I did a Berry Burst, and then without re-inking, I stamped another one. So that kind of gave me a nice little variation. I stamped in Berry Burst for the flowers, in Fresh Freesia on the inside, and I did that same little Berry Burst technique here, and I colored in my little butterfly. Okay, because you had seen all that before, I hope that kind of helps the video move along. And now we're going to bring in our dies. So you can, everyone kind of has a preference on how many dies they're comfortable running through the machine at one time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these, what I can, down, and I'm going to run that through my machine. All right, we've got a few pieces die cut. We're going to bring this back in. I'll get another flower, my large one, another small one, and this one, I need a white butterfly. All right, it's actually a little backing, so you're going to want to get 1 more butterfly. All right, there is everything cut, and I feel so silly. There were 2 butterflies. I could have cut those all at one time, but it's all good. We've got everything cut and ready. So friends, I've got a little piece. This is just some scrap, but it's about a 2 3/4 by 2 inch. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little polka dots here, and I'm going to stamp these right across the bottom. I don't even think I need any more than that. And I'm going to take my blending brush. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to add some color right here just to this one side. This is going to be the edge of the planter. This is optional, but I really like it. It just gives a little more depth. Now I'm going to flip this back over, and whatever ink is left here on my blending brush, I'll add that right here. Okay, what on earth am I doing? Let me show you. I'm going to take my polka dot side, and I'm going to cut this down to 1 inch. There's that other piece that we just colored. And I'm going to cut these down into 2 1-by-1 pieces. All right. I'm going to come back in with the dies, and these were the little edges I was talking about. So I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine, and we have those. All right. Lots going on here, I know. So it's time to bring in our flower piece here. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to fold my card, but you notice I'm kind of also pulling the planter out as well. We'll bring those edges together, bring in my bone folder to give everything a good burnish. This is why we wanted to go ahead and stamp that flower before we did the burnishing. All right, I didn't want to hit that and have that mess up in any way. All right, so we're going to first take our little squares here. I'm just simply going to add those to the front of the planter. The little edges of the planter also have a great little score line built into them. So I'm going to use my multi-purpose glue for this because it's a really narrow little thing. And I will add just a dab of adhesive on one side only. And when you add it, the points will go right along the edge of your planter. Very, very easy. But do you see the extra depth that gives? I really love it. All right, it's time to add our flowers. So I'm going to take a couple of these and just a little bit of glue here. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring these outside of the flower box a little bit. We're going to be adding more, and they're going to be attached to the front, so it'll really have a good pop. That's what's going to make it a holy cow. So we'll add this flower here. So to add these, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to adhere right along these bottom leaves. All right, that's going to be my key. So I'll just kind of add my adhesive right there. It's going to go inside the flower box itself. So you see, we get that pop. We'll add the other one. Remember, this is going on the front. All right there on those leaves. And we'll add one here to the other side. We've got a couple other little ones. These can just kind of tuck in wherever you feel like you need a little something. Now let's add that flying butterfly. So remember, we had a white butterfly. I'm going to flip it upside down. I am going to take a mini glue dot. I'm sticking to the mini glue dot. That is now stuck to me. All right, we'll see if we can use that later. I am going to I have a tiny little strip of acetate. Friends, this is something you might already have plenty of. I like to save all the little acetate pieces that come in my photopolymer stamp set. I'm going to use that glue dot that decided to stick to me. I'm going to put it here on the other side. By the way, this is 1/8 of an inch by 3 inches. So it does not take a lot, but let me tell you, that's what's going to make this card a wow. So I have sandwiched my window sheet, my little strip of window sheet, in between those two butterflies. You might kind of want to decide where it's going to go to kind of help you decide where to put your last mini glue dot. But I'm going to say just about right there. There's no right or wrong here, friends. And I will stick that in there. All right, look, we've got our little flower. I want to make sure everything's closing. It's all doing great. We're going to add a couple more butterflies. I mean, can you have too many? I don't think so. We've got the one. She's a little lonely. Let's add a couple more. While we have this out, we're going to add a sentiment in the upper left corner. You make my life better just being in it. It's time to add this to our card. And so what I'm going to do, I want you to kind of see, it's just going to go like that. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and add kind of all the way around. All right. And I'm just sort of going to line it up. I want to make sure I'm good on all 3 sides. I will gently close my card because I want to make sure. See, I need to move that over just a hair. I don't like to press things down firmly until I'm sure. And now I can add adhesive here on the other side, just like before. I'm going to close it really gently. And I think I'm good. So I will give that a back rub, friends. Look at it. It's so great. Okay, let's decorate the front. Berry burst, 3 1/4 by 5. Down here in the bottom corner, I'm going to die cut a vase. I'm going to use the rounder vase. Back in with the beautiful pattern embossing folder. And I'm just going to take that die cut and just lay it right back in there. The reason I want to die cut or to emboss after I die cut is because I don't want to squish out that beautiful pattern. So that's why I want to do that die cutting first. We want to keep that gorgeous texture. All right, let's bring in our card, making sure it's face up. I'm adhering that to the left side of the card, centering it up on those three sides. I've got my vase and my last set of flowers. I will use a Stampin' Dimensional to hold that one in place. Now I'll add a few more Stampin' Dimensionals and we'll center that in our card. Back in with my black ink. And then we have a couple of our single flowers that we have. Coloring the inside with the light fresh freesia. And I'll color the flowers with a light berry burst. When we adhere this to the card, we're going to center it up on the top, bottom, and the left. And of course, a little petunia pop bow. Friends, just look at that. You have room to write your message here. It's going to display. They're going to love this card. So this is your holy cow. This has to be my favorite. I'd love to hear your favorites as well. Maybe you're a quick stamper. You like cards that you can make now. Maybe you want to step it up just a touch. Do a little bit of die cutting. I love how that flower pops. And then, of course, that holy cow, when you really want to have some fun and create something just a little extra special. Friends, that is your now, wow, or holy cow for today. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed the video. And if you did, I would love a thumbs up on YouTube. Thank you very much for that. If you have not subscribed to the channel, take a moment to click that subscribe button. If you ring the bell, YouTube will give you a little notification whenever I'm back with a new video. And if you are looking for more crafting fun, be sure to check out the join button right next to the subscribe button and check out my YouTube membership. We have amazing perks for the members, and I'd love for you to be a part. Well, friends, that's all for me today. Have a fantastic day, and I look forward to stamping with you on the next video. Bye-bye.